Good morning. Good morning. Top of the morning to you, everyone. It's 4:45. Welcome, man. It's Thursday. Today is Thursday. It is the 17th day of July, 2025. I am not out here alone this morning. I think it's in part because some people are leaving or moving. Welcome, man. Welcome, man. Welcome, man. How's everybody doing this morning? Thank you for being here this morning. Good morning, everyone. Oh my goodness, is it doing it again? Am I living on the outer edges this morning? Let's see. Welcome in. Top of the day to you. Welcome to this Thursday, people. How we feeling today? How we acting today? Oh, thank you for being here. Remember, as always, as you check in the morning, make sure you let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is, where you are. I want to go ahead and say for everyone who was looking for me yesterday, did not do a live yesterday, had some things to take care of. Those things are being taken care of. And so we are out here this morning just to say good morning. Welcome to the morning to start a new day with encouragement, strength, grace. Thank you all for being here, being patient. Let's get up, people. Let's get up. It is that time. Good morning. All right. We have Williams, Gora, Aiden, Gira, and Hello. What's going on? Good morning. Good morning, Gira. How are we doing this morning, everyone? Welcome out here for the walk and talk. Let's hustle, hustle, hustle. Get up at it, people. Let's get up. Let's go. Ah, feeling good this morning? Let me know where you're checking in from, guys. Is it morning, afternoon? What time of day is it where you are? I know it's top of the morning here. I am on the East Coast, United States, here in Delmarva, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area, the DMV as we call it. It is 4:50 in the morning. Out for this walk. Good morning. Who we have there? Aiden. Turtle. Is that Turtle? It says 350. Midwest 350. Good morning. Good morning, Bird's Nest. Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning, for stopping by. It's a pleasure to see you. Thank you for being a part. Let's get up. Let's get on this walk. You know what we do here in the morning? We're all about growth, motivation, strength, personal development, and discipline, people. Always about that discipline. Always about understanding that we're continuing to grow and develop. So thank you for joining me out here this morning. Feeling good, positive energy. Uh, B. James, good morning, my brother. 350 Nashville, Tennessee. Let's go, Nashville. Hey, B. James, I got a question for you. I got a question for you, B. James. Is Nashville the New York of the South? Because Nashville is expensive, man. I don't know if any of y'all have ever considered looking at real estate in Nashville, You know how sometimes they're like, oh, move to the South. You save yourself some money. The cost of living is lower in the South. Listen, Nashville evidently is not the South, people. The cost of living in Nashville is, for lack of a better word, exorbitant. Hey, Trey Williams, why am I so out of breath? I don't know, man. Why am I? I'm not really. I just sound that way, right? I'm not as out of breath as I sound. I think it's because I do get a little pumped up when I'm talking. I do share. My audio this morning is either through my AirPods or my microphone, and you guys get to hear all of my breathing. So versus only hearing me speaking, you're also hearing me going. So maybe I need to work on that. Plus, I could have probably took some time this morning to clear my sinuses before getting out here. But thank you for being here, guys. Thanks for being up. Thanks for being out on the walk. Hey, people, are we happy this morning? Are you happy? That's a question. I didn't put up a poll question this morning, but it's a good question to ask yourself is, are you happy? Right? And the reason we want to ask ourselves if we're happy, because as we start to develop any area of our life, we want to learn to be in a space where we can understand how to own our own happiness, right? So owning your own happiness sounds like uh, someone's trying to sell you a self-help book. I'm not trying to sell you a self-help book. I'm literally talking about the practical ways. It's very simple, really, of being able to say, hey, I'm happy. I know I am. And it's my happiness. It's not someone else's. It's not being manufactured. It's not being controlled by someone else. My happiness belongs to me. And the simple way to do it, guys, I'll let you know right now, is just start with gratitude. When we start with gratitude and we have gratitude for everything we do in our life, we have gratitude for all the things that we have available in our life, we can work from there and we can be happy. Everything from that point on is growth. Everything from that point on is we're just adding to that happiness. So welcome in, everyone. Thanks for being here. The remainder of this walk and talk will just be being happy. I don't know if there's a much simpler way to say it, but that is the way it goes. Jose Lopez, welcome in, Jose. Thank you for being here. Everyone else, thank you for being a part this morning. You guys know we come out on this walk. We're going to be out here till the sun come up. So we got at least 30 or 40 minutes for that. Am owning the happiness today. I also may a little bit more for those of you who come here on a regular basis. You know, I do not like running, but I'm feeling a little peppy this morning. So there may be some moments where I decide to go ahead and jump out there, extend extend the legs, and do a little jogging. Not a big fan, people. Not a big fan of cardio, but I'm feeling that burn this morning. Do got my little step tracker on, but what's the old Bobby McFerrin song? Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry. Let's do that this morning, people. Don't worry, be happy. Here's a little song I wrote. I'm gonna get flagged. I don't know if Bobby and YouTube got an agreement or not. But anyway, best way, guys, easiest way to own your happiness, live with gratitude. Um, I saw a post this morning where a guy said, hey, if when you're healthy, you have 1,000 problems. You have problems everywhere when you're healthy. But as soon as your health is compromised, you only have one problem, and that's your health. That's the only concern. And so, what does that mean? Well, living with gratitude is understanding that no matter what's going on in the world, you still have your presence here. And there's something to be grateful for. Um, Too High says, what is the time there? Here, it is 4:57 in the morning, Too High. What time is it where you at? It is 4:57 in the morning. I'm on the East Coast. So, out here in the morning, trying to get my sweat on, my growth on, trying to stay limber uh, and engaged, using this body while I can use it. So sometimes it gets really easy to start to take for advantage the things your body can do, especially when your body can do just about anything, right? When you're at that point where you don't have any limitations. So as I start to get older, I want to remind myself that my body can still do things. But if I don't ask it to, it won't. The longer we go without doing something, the more difficult it becomes to do that thing. So just grateful for the ability to still be able to run. I do not enjoy it. I think I might have expressed that once or twice, but occasionally I run because I can. It's really not a fitness goal for me. It's not a hey, I need to significantly improve my cardiovascular capability, which I probably do. But but the primary focus, guys, is just running because I can. So thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for being a part of the Walk Your Talk. Thank you for taking the time out this morning to join me. If you're not up yet, people, let's get up. You know what we do here. It is all about growth, development, understanding that your development is going to require your input. Your input is going to require your dedication. Your dedication shows up through discipline. So we can use a lot of words, but we have to get to a point where our words are practical, applicable behaviors, tangible, tangible, behaviors that will result in an outcome. And that tangible behavior, that tangible, applicable behavior is discipline. Because discipline allows for you to use a decision to shape that decision and to achieve a goal. There are a lot of powerful words in the English language. I am not a master of any other language, but I'm sure in just about every language, there are words that are used to inspire, empower, encourage, and motivate. There are lots of words that are used to do that, but we have to take those words and we have to turn them into actions. So we have to find an action word to go along with it. So when we start talking about truly taking action and owning our reality, owning our happiness, owning our direction and our story, if that's truly what we're going to do, we have to actually do it, people. And it takes effort. It takes focus. It takes discipline. There are lots of ways to say it. What is effort? Effort is different. Is it physical effort? Is it mental effort? Is it emotional effort? Is it knowledge? What's the effort? So when someone says it's going to take effort, What are we actually talking about? Is the word actionable, right? So the way to own your happiness is to understand you can own the behaviors that lead to it, right? There's a saying that says stress is not from the things that you have to do, but from the things you needed to do and you didn't get done. There's no stress when you did what you needed to do and you got it done. You don't carry stress with you for the things that you completed. You don't even carry stress with you for the things that you know you have to do next. But you carry stress with you for the things that needed to get done that didn't get done. Those things result in stress. I'm telling you from a person who's had that experience, from working as a from a frontline server to a fry cook in fast food restaurants to management in large retail companies to being the manager of whole fitness facilities and training plans for clients. The stress never came from the things that I had to do the next day because I signed up for them and I knew they were things that were a part of my job role. The stress came from the things that needed to be done and didn't get done. And now I'm carrying them around with me, wondering when and how I'm going to catch up. Good morning, Ethereal. Would you recommend me going back into school or going into the military? First, I'm very bad at being a student. Well, Ethereal, where you live at? Tell me where you're at, Ethereal. Have you finished high school? Did you do any college? Um, what type of school are you considering taking? What country are you in? What's your focus like after school and after the military? What are you planning to do? What's the expectation? So we can answer that question, Ethereal. We can definitely delve into it and we can find some solutions, but we need to make sure we're starting from the right point. This is one of the things I try not to do. I try not to just jump out and start throwing answers at people with an assumption that your life is like mine, that you are living the way I'm living. So I can't give you advice based off of my experience. Ethereal, I need to know more about your experience. I need to know whether or not you have expectations for the military and for school. And if you do, what those expectations are. Share with me, and then I can share with you. But always, guys, as I said before, we have to have a practical application of things. If you haven't done so yet, guys, and you're just now showing up, please let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is where you are, what you guys are doing today. Is it morning, afternoon, night? Let me know. I know with this bright light, sometimes you can't see the background. It looks like I'm just trudging through the wilderness. So I just want to say good morning. Thank you. And if you haven't had the opportunity to, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Doesn't cost you anything. I appreciate it. It's just a great way to acknowledge that you've been here, guys. So looks like Ethereal may not be here anymore. So here's the thing, guys. With everything that we want to do in life, we have to make sure RKS, good morning. Welcome to you. You don't even have the morning yet. It's still nighttime. You got an hour before you get to hit good morning. How's it going out there? You doing pretty good? Out there in the Pacific? How's the weather? It's probably always nice. Tell you what, I got to make it out there. I've never been to Hawaii, but I'm going to find a way. I got to figure out a way to get my wife out there. My wife doesn't like to fly. She definitely doesn't like to fly over large open bodies of water. So I may have to gotta find a way, see if we can get a train to Hawaii. So, okay, Ethereal responded. Ethereal said, so a moment ago, Ethereal asked, would you recommend me going back to school or going into the military first? I'm very bad at being a student. and I asked some information about his background, and he responded, I finished high school, wasted time in college, and still don't feel I'm ready to start doing work and stuff like that. I have a bad problem with structure in my life and consistency. Uh, Honestly, not sure what I want to do, which is why I want to do military just to get away and start doing stuff in my life and get some help. I live in Tennessee. All right, Tennessee. Do you live in Nashville? Nashville is expensive. I don't know if you heard earlier. So I tell you what, Ethereal. So here's the thing. Based on everything that you said, first thing I'm going to offer you is this. Uh, Going into the military means that you are getting your life up for that period of time. So here's the difference between a commitment to the military and a commitment to college. The commitment to the military means you can give up the hard work, right? You can give up the hardest part of living your life, which is figuring out what to do with your life. The military answers that question for you. Now, you're not escaping school by going to the military because you still have to learn. It's just forced. It is a forced learning process. We've moved away of some of the archaic ways of training in the military here in the United States, but it's still imperative that here in the United States, uh, uh, yes, sir, right outside of there. Yeah, so you know, yes, sir. So um, there's an understanding with uh, going to the military that you're giving responsibility over to someone else. Here's the thing: for some people, that's perfect. For many people, that's perfect because one of the things I always say here is that in order for you to live your life right correctly, you have to have principles and purpose, right? Principles are a set of guidelines by which you live your life that you will not vary from, right? If you have principles, and trust me, people have principles. It doesn't matter if you're uh, a CEO, a Christian. It doesn't matter your religion. It doesn't matter if you have addiction issues. It doesn't matter what it is. You have principles. That life that you live has a set of principles within it, and you live by those. And then you have a purpose. Your purpose is what you leave behind. And for many of us, there's no purpose. But when you have principle and purpose, waking up and doing what you're supposed to do every day becomes very easy. When you go to the military, they break you. The first thing that they're intended to do, which is why military training is structured the way it is they need to break you mentally and physically. They need to mentally and physically reduce you because they need to make you a baby again. So, as a baby, you're completely dependent on others to understand when to eat, how to eat, if you can eat, when to go to the bathroom. All of that's dependent. The military wants to reduce you to that or needs to reduce you to that so that they can build you back up strong. When they start to build you, but they have to get you broken first. When they start to build you, it's to give you principles and purpose. Because when you have principles and purpose, there's no longer a question of why do I have to stand like this? Why do I have to do this? You don't ask those questions anymore. You don't ask why am I making my bunk? You don't ask why do we have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning? The military teaches you that. They give you that. So if you choose the military, and I'm not saying it's a bad option. I just need you to know if the military is your choice and that's the direction you choose to go, that's what your future looks like. So those issues that you say you have go away, but they don't go away because you want them to. They go away because they're required. Now, for many people, especially people who did not have direction, and you see these old movies and hear these stories about how they used the military to punish people years and years ago, they would sentence them to go to war. They would basically put them in the military. for many people, it gave their life a structure that it had never known before. And so people from different parts of the country were able to go into the military, meet people they never met before, learn things that they've never known before, and be able to grow from there. But it still requires for you to take that on. You have to understand, Ethereal, when you go into this process and you start learning and you start growing, you have to understand that you're giving yourself over to that. It's still going to take discipline. It's still going to take you focused. It's still going to take you doing the work necessary to complete the objective. However, the hard part, which most of us struggle with, is finding out what's our principles, what's our purpose. If we can't define our principles and purpose, we don't really find a path to travel and we kind of flop around. And that seems like kind of where you're saying you are right now, but you can identify, you're self aware. You felt like you wasted your time in college, right? You felt like your time in college didn't benefit you, it didn't provide anything for you, and you were looking for something different. So if you know that didn't work, don't go back to that. Take a moment though and make sure you know it doesn't work. Because once you're aware that it doesn't work, don't go back to it, right? And that's how we live, guys. That's the way that we grow. That's the way that we find direction is one, being self aware, which you're doing, right? You're self aware. You're aware of who you are. You're aware of the things that have worked for you and what hasn't worked. You're also being self accountable. The accountability part will switch if you go to the military. Think about it. Understand that there are going to be some challenges. And then ask yourself if you can challenge yourself in that way. Can I challenge myself mentally and physically in a way where I can meet my own standard? Because that's the biggest thing about the military is they give you principles and purpose and they force you to meet a standard. I don't know if that answered the question for you. I can't give you the exact answer, but it sounds like you're leaning towards the military. I would say in that lean, make sure you understand who you are, right? Make sure you get a full understanding of who you are and what you're working towards. Um, Master D4, we take the best state in the world. Well, I'm not sure what that means. Uh, oh, there was a troll in there. I bet he's gone. Ariana, looks like it's the same person. Got you. All right, who else do we have? So Ethereal says, I really appreciate you, man. You have an ascended conscience. God has blessed you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I want the best for you. I believe the biggest thing for you, like I said before, is just take a moment and make sure you're looking at everything with clear eyes, right? Take your time. You know, understand you like we know what the military is going to be. You know what school is. You don't know exactly what the military is going to be, but you know there are certain things that are there. And the biggest thing, like I said, is what they give you is principles and purpose. Can you develop your own principles and purpose? It's not about the work you do. It's not about what job you choose, how well you are in school. It's really about can you develop any area of discipline for those principles and purpose? Can you set yourself a 4 a.m. wake up time, right? Like you're up now, it's 4:15, and you're here on a pretty regular basis. What can we do when we get up at 4:15 that's going to create a repetition for us, something that we can add discipline to, right? Because once we do that, now we're building something. We're starting to take control of designing our own path, which is it leads right into this thing when I say own your own happiness. How to own your own happiness? One, you start with gratitude. You start with the appreciation of what you have, and then you grow on that. We grow. We look to become stronger. We look to develop stronger connections. We look to become better people. We look to find graciousness and happiness and and just love and support in all the spaces that we go into, right? And it sounds pie in the sky, and no, not every moment of life is going to be perfect, but the more we practice it, the less days we lose, right? So there's this whole principle of I had a bad day, right? The theory of Is it possible to recover from a bad start to a day? I believe it is. And I believe it starts basically with us living with gratitude and then moving forward from there. Let me see, what do we have? We have, I got to cover the camera. Rayo, hello, remember me? Shaitan, I'm not sure, Shaitan, but thank you for being here. I used to troll in here, and now I'm number two on the chat. I can definitely tell you're a father, you're a natural leader. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm only ever in here because I'm up all night. I really should try starting to get up now if I'll have to in the military. If it's something that you, and like if the military is the thing you want to do, it's like anything else, right? We can always kind of prepare ourselves for it. We can't know exactly what's to come, but we can put ourselves in a better position for it. You know, they have a physical training requirement, certain number of push-ups, certain number of pull-ups. Go for it. You know, start doing your push-ups and pull-ups. How long can you run a mile for? You know, what time can you get up? Can you make up your bed, brush your teeth? You know, clean yourself up, get out, do your workout, get back in, shower. You know, and then just do that part, right? Like because again, it's about finding out what the purpose is, and the military is going to give it to you unless you give it to yourself. You may find out just by preparing yourself to go into the military, you've prepared yourself for what it is you want to do. But I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for asking the question, and thank you for allowing me to be able to share this response with you. Hey guys, thank you again for being here this morning. It is 5:18 in the morning. The sun will be up soon. I am out here personally. I hate doing cardio. I can walk without difficulty, but every time I try to jog, man, somebody just give me some 50-pound dumbbells to curl. Anything. Whew. Let's get a few more steps in, people. Let's jog for a second. I don't know how long this jog is going to be, but let's jog for a minute. Let's see where we get. Thank you for being here, people. If you haven't had a chance to, go ahead, double tap that screen, hit that little thumbs up. Doesn't cost you anything. Just a way to say I stopped by. I said hi. All right. Ooh. All right. Let me see. I'm going to keep going a little bit longer. All right. Where am I at, guys? Rate 160, about a mile and a half in for the morning. Ooh. Living with gratitude. Body still does it. Body can still run. Body can still squat, jump. Doesn't jump as high as it used to. I don't know. I'm carrying around a little bit more body than I used to. But thank you again for being here, everyone. Remember, everything requires discipline. It requires for us to invest in ourselves, in our future. Principles and purpose, hope laid away. If you're having difficulty with those things, your principles are usually attached to your faith. So if you're having difficulty figuring out what you will or won't do, good morning, how are you doing? Is that Kyrene Theo? How you doing? Welcome in this morning. difficulty finding your principles, then you need to sit down and kind of ask yourself, what are they? Like, what are the things that I won't do? And why won't I do them? Right? I can't define your principles for you. Uh, I have to work daily to make sure I'm living up to the principles I set for myself, for the standard and the expectations that I set for myself. And so we all have to work on that area of ourselves. And then your purpose is understanding what you leave behind, right? Your purpose is a life goal. It's what you're working on that you're going to leave behind, right? Because you have a job and you have expectations and you have goals, but a true purpose is what we leave behind. It's the things that we don't take with us, right? So when you've lived your purpose and you understand it's what you're leaving behind, then we spend a lot less time worried about how somebody feels or sees us now. We're able to live with gratitude for whatever may come. We're able to live with appreciation of our experience and however we're living, whatever we're dealing with, whatever we're going through. And we appreciate it. And it allows us to grow. Phil says, keep pumping out that inspiration, motivation, and knowledge. No problem, Phil. Thank you for being in here, bro. Where you at? What you doing? What time is it where you are, Phil? Let me know. Are you up and at it? You still out here in Maryland? I'm up. I'm out here between 4:30 and 6:30, Monday through Saturday. I didn't make it out yesterday, guys. For anyone who was looking for me yesterday, I did have a personal issue that I needed to take care of. So I wasn't really active yesterday on YouTube, but I feel blessed to have this opportunity to be out here every day that I can. It's truly a blessing. Ethereal said, you're just real, and that's what everyone needs. You can't seem like a scammer trying to sell a course. You're just a great guy trying to help everyone. I'm trying my best to help, man. I'm trying my best to help. Definitely not a scammer. Like, we have to be able to live. And the whole thing started for me. I'm not sure if everyone remembers the background, but for me, this whole thing started because I needed to make changes in my life. And so my birth father passed away when I was 40. My stepfather passed away this year in January. And I had to take a look at my life, and I'm like, man, I'm doing stuff. I'm really busy. I'm doing a lot of things, but I'm not really growing anywhere. I'm not really growing. I wasn't growing spiritually. I wasn't growing emotionally. I wasn't developing uh, in a way that I could see that I was doing a disservice to my wife, my children, and I needed to fix me, to fix home. And so I understood that I needed to start making some changes. And I developed the discipline dividend, which is those 4 steps of repetition, patience, consistency, and perseverance. And I started to do that. And I needed to have something that was my repetition. And it just started with getting up at 4:30. I just need to be on my feet at 4:30. I need to be up. And so at first it was 4:30. I moved it to 4. And then it was just like, just get up at 4. Just get up. Just get up. Just be awake, because you're wasting the day away. And then after I was able to get up consistently, my body, my body wakes me up now at 3:50 in the morning, every morning, 3:30 if I set the alarm. But once I started to develop the consistency of being able to get myself up on a regular basis, or the repetition of getting myself up on a regular basis, I needed to add something to it. And so I continued to work. And it took a lot of prayer, a lot of conversations, both with my family, my mother, my wife, brothers and sisters, for me to kind of understand what I needed to be doing with myself at that time of day. And then I started to come out and take these walks in the morning. And the purpose of the walk was for me to be able to get my head wrapped around my purpose and what I was doing, why I'm doing it. And then because I had started the YouTube channel earlier, but I hadn't done any lives, eventually I got to the point where I was just like, well, I'm out on these walks. Let's just share. Let's just share this walk with others. Maybe there are others who are up at this time or possibly working on the same thing. And it helped me to build a support group of people who were here to walk with me, like Phil, Ethereal, Rich, Top Gun, Ryan, Faith, like so many people who have subscribed and helped me be develop the consistency and the repetition here. And so now the consistency on it is, this is why I keep telling you guys I don't like running. That's the new element is, are we going to set a goal? Well, yeah, we could do these walks and we have this objective and we have this thing that we do. How do I continue to challenge it? And so now I want to challenge it by getting in a certain number of steps and working towards improving that thing that I said I'm not targeting. I'm not targeting it, but I do know it's there. So I haven't committed to that as being the plan in terms of becoming more uh, physically fit in the cardio aspect, but I get it. I get it. I'm working on it. And then let me see. Phil said, Therio said, oh no, this is Phil. Said, yeah, out here coming from doing a job, have a great trap cleaning business in Laurel, Maryland. That's what's up, man. Ethereal, I was 2 when my dad passed, and I struggle with it every day. My grandpa, who was pretty much my dad, passed a year ago, and I'm lost now, starting to wake up from the funk I've been in. Thank God. Hey, keep pushing, Ethereal. That's the bigger thing for you, man. Like the advice that I gave you earlier about the military, that's that stuff will work itself out. That's the bigger thing for you right now. Listen, lean into figuring that thing out, right? How do I put it? Like, you don't have to disappear, right? But it's okay to say that that hurts, right? As long as it hurts. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. And it's required, dude. Like, it's required for you to truly identify the hurt and the pain that came from losing your dad and your grandfather the way that you did, and in the time space that you did, and your experience. It's okay to say that hurts, right? And you need to, so that you can get up from it. Like, you have to admit. So that's what the military does, is the military takes you to rock bottom. And for most of us, we don't like going to rock bottom. We don't like looking in and digging into the worst parts of our experience in order for us to truly hit rock bottom and then have to deal with it. And for a lot of us, it destroys us. For a lot of us, it makes us act in ways, talk in ways, and engage in ways that are unhealthy for both ourselves and others. But that's part of that process, is, man, you may not, I'm not saying do it alone, but I'm saying definitely find a way to do it. Find someone or someone's to help you with dealing with that. Cause you gotta get there. Like you gotta push off the bottom. You ever been in a really deep swimming pool, right? I remember the first time I tried to dive into 12 feet as a kid. I could swim, but I was light. So I couldn't get to the bottom. And so in order for me to get to the bottom, I had to swim. And then somebody gave me a 10-pound brick later, but I could never get to the bottom because I wasn't heavy enough. And it was hard to turn around 8 feet down, 10 feet down, and swim back up because I hadn't hit the bottom. When you hit the bottom, you got something to push off of. And when they gave me a 10-pound brick and I hit the bottom, they say, when you hit the bottom, let the brick go and push. And I'm telling you, I exploded back up to the top. Sometimes, man, we just got to hit the bottom. You just got to hug the brick and you got to hit the bottom. And you just got to deal with all of that suckiness that's down there in the bottom. And then you use that to push back off and explode through the top. It's not surprising that you're dealing with the challenges you're dealing with and the way that you're dealing with them right now, Ethereal, because you still are going through. But that's why we keep pushing. That's why we start to develop discipline. It's because sometimes you got to hit rock bottom, man. You gotta, dude, and it sucks. It sucks because even hugging that brick, it can feel like, dude, I'm not at the bottom yet. This still sucks. This is still bad. We're already, see, before you hit the bottom, and this is where most of us get it wrong, and this is where my challenge was. I was already worried about getting back to the top before I hit the bottom, right? If my focus is I need to get to the bottom to get to the top, and before I get to the bottom, I start going back to the top, I'm making it harder on myself. I didn't achieve the original goal, which is to get to the bottom. And we do this in a lot of areas in our life. We say that we want to have a better relationship with our loved ones, but in order to have that better relationship with our loved ones, you say, I want to improve my behavior so we can be happy. Well, guess what? Improving your behavior means you're going to have to make some tough decisions. You're going to have to change some actions. You're going to have to change the way you engage, change the way you hear, the way you listen, the way you respond. Those things are going to happen, and they suck. Your lungs are expanding and they're getting tight, and you're still trying to get to this bottom so that you can come back up to the top. But all you're worried about is, well, I want to be happy. You haven't hit the bottom yet. You haven't made enough changes in your behavior. You haven't committed enough to getting to the root of the problem so that you can get your solution. And that's a challenge that can hold us back. It's okay. It's okay to hit the bottom. We need to hit the bottom because the bottom is where we spring off. It's where we explode back up. It's what the military does to you. The military takes you to the bottom. You're at the bottom. Take my hand. I got you. That's how they train you. That's how they give you purpose. That's why it's so devastating to the men and women who go into the military and they give themselves, they give their minds, they give their hearts, their souls, their bodies, they give their calling and their purpose to the military, and then they look, and the military isn't doing what it said it would do. The military isn't having them do what they said they would do. And now they start to question. It's not about what they did. It's not about the physical wounds. You see plenty, you see, you see plenty of veterans who come home with physical scars and live. But we watch fully capable, able-bodied veterans come home who are broken mentally and emotionally, who can't do the same thing. Because that process of breaking you and then giving you these principles and purpose, and then me not holding up my end of it can be devastating. So, Ethereal, I'm saying you've been through an experience. It's okay to hit the bottom to spring back up. Focus on that. Get that done. Phil says, Mom used to get up at 4 a.m. every morning, like clockwork, like clockwork. Ethereal, I don't like to use things like that as an excuse, but I'm constantly messes me up, and I know I wouldn't even be in this position if I had those people in my life. True. That's the point of hitting rock bottom. That's what hitting rock bottom is. It's not an excuse. It's accepting that these people were important to you, and if you had them here right now would probably be easier. But you have to hit rock bottom because what rock bottom is, they're not here. You can hold on to this 10-pound brick and you can stay at rock bottom and wish they were here and hope they were here and never come back up. Or you can accept that you've hit rock bottom I get it. This sucks. It's not what I would have chosen, but it's where I am, and I'm still here. Let go of that brick and spring back up, Ethereal. That's what I'm saying is right now, you're not at rock bottom. Right now, you're somewhere in the middle. You're kind of dealing with it and you start to go into it, but then it kind of messes you up. It makes you feel bad. And you're like, I don't want to think about it. So I'll play this game. I don't want to think about it. I just won't go to sleep. I don't want to think about it. I can't sleep. I'll just wake up. I'll just be mean to other people because I don't want to deal with it. You're in the process of traveling to the bottom so you can spring back up, but you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Who is this? This is Louie. Kind be kind Bluey? Kind be Louie? Hi. How you doing this morning? I messed some names up, people. So thank you everyone for being here this morning. It's now 5:37. The sun is starting to creep up. You guys can start to see it coming up. Sky is getting brighter. It's a beautiful day out. This walk and talk today is about how to own your happiness. Own your happiness by living with gratitude. Life doesn't have to be perfect for you to be grateful, right? For anything. It's difficult when your body can do everything to be grateful for the fact that your body can do everything. Don't wait until your body can't do something to say, man, I remember when my body could do this. While your body can, have your body do. It's a great way to grow and develop. It's a great way to be an inspiration to others. It's a great way to inspire and encourage yourself. Continue to work, continue to grow, continue to be the person that you are becoming. There's this old line that says, be the change you want to see. And I didn't get it for a long time. And in my own personal experiences, it was difficult for me to understand what it meant to really be the change that I wanted to see. And it finally got to a point, I was working at a company where we had leadership, and there were some issues that I personally had with the leadership on the way they did things and on the way work was being done and how people were being directed. And they were like, well, you work here. I'm like, yeah. But I'm like, I'm not the manager. I'm not. They were like, so what? What are you not seeing that you think would be beneficial? Be that. So I started to be it. Guess what? I became a part of leadership. I became a part of management. Be the change you want to see. Know your value. Know how to be the thing that you want to see things be. RKS, I'm doing better than I was a year ago. That's phenomenal. Ethereal, do you have scripts or like an overall idea or plan when you do these, or is it all? So I have my principles, right? I have my principles, Ethereal, that I live by. Do not have a script. I have my principles and I have a sense of understanding about the things that are in my life and how my life is impacted. Uh, a simple Chris, good morning. It's good to see you're doing better as well. So what I do have is I come out and I talk about the principles and the guidelines and the structure that I'm living by. I talk about the things that I have to internalize in order for it to work in my life. Because I know, like I've hit rock bottom. So I know what it's like to hit rock bottom. I know how difficult it is to get there, right? I know the pain of going there and not like, you don't want to go there. And then when you get there, like just the man, like the the ability to accept just staying, right? Like getting to rock bottom It's crazy because the acceptance of rock bottom, the thing about it is, it's so quiet. It's so, it's, it's so peaceful. It's an acceptance of the things that are out of your control, the things that have happened. And it feels like this is where I've always wanted to be. It feels like this is the only comfortable place I've ever been, right? Hitting rock bottom for just a moment, it feels like, okay, I'm fine. And then you start to come up and you're like, oh, wait a minute, all this stuff is still here. The rest of the world is still here. This pain is still here. This, this, this attachment, this emotional attachment is still here. I was just on rock bottom and I didn't feel any of this. And you want to go back. And that quiet feels like comfort. But you got to fight back. You got to push back up. You got to take a deep breath. You got to swim. The fight's not over. Hitting rock bottom was just you understanding that I'm here and I'm accepting that I'm here. I got to push back up. Now you got to swim to the shore. Now you got to swim to the side. The water's still deep. The bottom is still there. There's still a struggle, but you've hit it and you've been there. And you know, as peaceful as it felt, it's not where you want to be. And now we have to grow. We have to swim. We have to kick. We have to fight. We have to go for more. And it comes from having been there. Dude, once you've been to rock bottom, and you could have been bad, you could have been deep, but once you've been to the rock bottom, it's like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But then you start to come out, you start to grow, you start to develop, you start to understand how much of your life you have control over, how much of the things that are pulling you down are outside of you and not inside of you. And so you start to let what's inside of you impact the world outside of you versus letting what's outside of you control the world inside of you. It's how we grow. It's not easy. Listen, look, these metaphors and these comparisons make it sound like, oh, it's going to be good. No, it's not easy. I'm still not there. I'm still fighting. I'm still kicking. I've let go of the brick. I've kicked back up to the surface and I'm swimming hard, but I'm still kicking. I'm still working on these areas. I'm still working on things. And it takes discipline. It takes showing up. It takes patience. I know it's not going to be perfect tomorrow. This is why I started sending myself the video messages at night so I can watch them in the morning. Just to say, hey man, you made it. You got this. Keep going. Today was tough. Today was beautiful. Today was great. Today was all of those things. But tomorrow is still coming. You got this. And you're getting better every day. You did better today than you did the day before, and you'll do better tomorrow. You're blessed. I send myself these messages at night so that I can wake up. It's just something I just started doing in the last week. But it's a process of as you get back up from the bottom, understanding you still got to kick the shore. We still have to make it to store. Simple Chris says, yeah, dude, it's hard. The fight from the bottom is crazy. I low key became addicted to it, so I would sabotage the buildup. That's what I'm talking about, Simple Chris. Spot on. You're spot on, man. Vance, good morning. Good morning, Vance. And that's the thing that we have to stop doing is because we get addicted to the fight. And that's the thing about knowing your purpose is oftentimes we'll start struggling to get to the surface. And as I said, once we make it back to the surface, we have to swim the shore. But there's no visible shoreline when you get up. You have to pick a direction and you have to go. When you start swimming the shore, when you're dealing with something and you hit rock bottom and then you come up, you got to say, hey, I'm going to do this. This is where I'm going. This is the direction I'm going. These are the things I'm going to do. And then you have to do them. And then you get midway through doing it and you finally got your stroke down. You finally got your rhythm down. You finally got your pace and you're making some movement and you're progressing, but you're not there yet. But you're progressing. And you can see the shore on the horizon. And you was like, no, that's not the shore I was looking for. Welcome back, Lex. That's not the shore I was looking for. Now, I mean, it's a good shore, but I think I want a different shore. And then you turn around and start swimming the other way. Now you're back out in the middle of open water. This is why we have to have patience. We have to have consistency. And perseverance is the part that works on us. When we develop those things and we understand those things and we put those things to use and we put those things towards our betterment and our approval, once we do that, once we truly start pushing in that direction and we truly start growing in that way and we get committed to our goal, our objective, our outcome, then we start to see that growth. We really start to see that movement. And that perseverance is built. Have you ever been offshore? Have you ever gone out in the ocean on a boat and then you see the shoreline and you're like, oh, we right there. And 45 minutes later, it's like, I don't think we gotten any closer. Like I still can see it. Why are we not there yet? That's perseverance. That thing, when it's right within your reach and you can see it, but you're not there yet, that's what perseverance is built. That perseverance is the thing that works on you. So when you do get there and you do achieve it, you're capable of understanding what you went through and who you need to be in order to see the best of it, in order to maximize it. So you don't stand up on that shoreline, scream to the heavens, I made it, and then sit down because you understand that you've been on a journey and the shoreline is not the finish line. It's just the start of the next part of the journey. That is what perseverance teaches you. That is how perseverance builds you. And then you find the next objective and you apply discipline to it. And you understand I need to show up. I need to be patient. I'm not going to be at the top of the mountain tomorrow. I need to be consistent. I have to climb a certain length on a regular basis. And I need to persevere because when I get to the mountaintop, I'm still not done. I am continuing to grow, to challenge, and to change. Guys, gratefulness and gratitude in that process allows for us to own our happiness. We can have challenges, we can have difficulty, we can have hard times, we can have fights, we can have arguments, we can have disagreements, but we can be happy. And that gratitude, the gratefulness for the ability to argue, the gratefulness for the ability to fight, the gratefulness for the ability to feel the struggle, the gratefulness for the ability to challenge ourselves. Just living in that gratefulness allows for us to be happy. I hate running. And every time I say it, I laugh because I'm grateful that my body still allows for me to do it. And I know the benefit of it. Doesn't mean I like it. Still don't like it. All right, I'm gonna run to the corner, y'all. Hey guys, if you haven't hit a thumbs up yet, if you haven't hit a like, go ahead and drop a like. Take a look at the channel, see what's there. Like, subscribe, share. I just got to make it to this corner. I think it's a little bit further away than I thought it was. Gratitude is where we find happiness, people. Let's continue to work towards it. Woo. Okay, corner, made it. That's, dude, running. Y'all in here cheering me on for running. Um, Y'all need to know every time I'm running, I'm unhappy. Look, look, guys. Uh, Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part of this walk and talk. If you haven't had the opportunity yet, please drop a thumbs up. Uh, drop a thumbs up. Like, subscribe, share. Remember, the discipline dividend is really simple. Uh, Thank you for your support. RKS, I'm building the empowerment strategy. Thank you. Indeed, brother. Keep building. Awesome, guys. Thanks for being here. Um, I'm going to go ahead and lay down. Have y'all heard that song on, on YouTube? I'm about to go lay down. I'm about to go. I'm about to go lay down, people. Oh, man. So, again, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for joining the walk and talk. Remember, discipline has 4 pillars. Repetition is going to be followed up by patience, which is going to be built on with consistency. And then perseverance is the thing that works on you. So until next time, guys, keep showing up, keep blowing up, keep growing up. I'll see you next time, guys. God bless.